For the last 6 months, I've been building a lot in my dwarven cave city, and since it's in a cave, it's been quite stuffy in there. So in today's episode, I want to head outside to touch some grass by exploring the Pale Garden and then building a sheep farm in the mountains. Leave a like if you enjoy world building and subscribe if you're new. Genuinely, this might be the best build that I've ever done. Like, I think it's definitely the prettiest build I've ever done. It is just so aesthetically pleasing. One thing I do wish about this tree though is I wish the particles would show a lot, closer or a lot further away. Because I feel like you have to get pretty close in order to get the cherry leaf particles to display. I didn't understand why it wasn't dropping the particles, but apparently it's because you have to be really close to it. So we're in a creative copy, and so when you get close to the tree, the cherry leaves, these petals start coming off of it. And it just looks so much more aesthetically pleasing. Look at that. So if anyone knows a way how to trigger these particles from further away, do let me know, because I want that. I want this in my world. It is super ambient. But anyways, back to survival. Today, I want to build a farm. I need a lot of farms in this world. It is my forever world, so I really need to start establishing a bunch of farms. And so I've kind of been in this cave for quite a while, and today I want to step out of the cave, and I want to build a wool farm, kind of not too far away from this city area. We're going to find like a flat area to build a wool farm. And I think that one of the blocks that I want to use for the wool farm build itself is probably going to be some pale oak. So I also want to find a pale oak, or this pale forest, I think, or pale garden. I want to find a pale garden today to get some pale oak. I'm not too sure what to do for the build yet. I'm stuck between two ideas. I'm stuck between using the pale oak for like a white picket fence, but I think that kind of doesn't match the time period that I'm using right now. And then the second option is to build a sheep farm like with a yurt. The only thing is yurts are Mongolian, and the dwarven culture here is kind of more like Norse, medieval, steampunky vibe. But maybe the farmer for the sheep farm will be, kind of a different culture of dwarf. And I think that might be a good idea because in fantasy series in general, species are very monolithic. Like different races, the elves, super monolithic, dwarves, super monolithic. And I think having different cultures for each race is a pretty cool idea. So in order to go to the Pale Garden, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finally get myself on top of the nether roof. And that way I can kind of hit two birds with one stone. So I actually built a fairy forest for the beginning part of my series, and I really do need to connect my dwarven build right now with that area. I think I have a moss farm and a honeycomb farm over there, so it'll be super useful to be able to access those farms again. So I reset my chunks for this update, and looks like this chunk right here didn't have the nether portal anymore because it's right on the chunk border. So now we've got a little glitched nether portal right here. I didn't realize I reset chunks that were that close to my dwarven build. That's kind of dangerous. Hopefully I didn't bork anything else. So we just need to work our way up to the top now. So the block we're looking for is 127. So we have to find the 127 block. All right, so I'm pretty sure this is the correct block. So what you got to do is get your ender pearl, get some ladders, and then I think you throw it right around there. So you just keep climbing the ladder and then bam. Oh. And we've made it to the ceiling. That was actually a lot easier. I brought a few extra ender pearls just in case. All right, so 1096 negative 201 should be the spot that we're after to get to our Mosswood, our fairy city called Mosswood. So we'll make a portal right here to connect to the city of Mosswood. Hopefully it links up. And bam, we are in our fairy area. Let's see what we got in here. Some quartz. So we're not actually going to do a full tour of this area. It's quite dark right now. Ooh, we got a stone storage here. Look at that. Oh. I got so many materials here. Okay, I do gotta loot this place later on. That's why we're connecting our build. Some things I do want to grab here is I do want to grab some honeycomb. So we've got our honeybee hobbit hole here, and we've got quite a bit of honey. So we'll grab a few stacks here. Oh, maybe a few too many. I probably should have brought a shulker box. I'll take like 4 stacks for now, just so I have it. And this is my moss farm, which is built out of a hollowed log. Very, very fairy core, I must say. But this is a city of mosswood, which houses all of the fairies. And they are kind of insectile-like fairies. So we're going to take some moss here. But this place is honestly pretty sick. I thought it would be kind of outdated, but low-key, I kind of like the vibes. And that right there is a bottled greenhouse. Literally, the bottled greenhouse effect. But I don't want to show you too much of this area because I will be doing a full tour of my world in I think a few weeks actually, because I think I posted my first video the first week of February. So we will make a world tour later on. Bam. Pale garden. Looking very pale, all right. It's this is like probably the smallest pale gardens on a large biomes map. Like, I'm playing on large biomes for a reason, but for some reason, they're super, super tiny. I did bring some shears so I can collect some things. And so I did add the harvest tree mod thingy. Oh, crap. That's the one that has my portal. But I do have this harvest tree mod. I lost it for a while when I updated my my game version, but I decided to add it back again just because it makes gathering wood so much easier. And I also don't have like a crazy amount of time to play all the time. So this way I can just kind of, you know, do my thing, gather my wood real quickly, and then be on my way. Oh, and there is our first creaking. I do want to grab... Hey, chill. Rat. I brought fortune. Well, I brought the wrong pickaxe, so I can't even collect this creaking heart. So I think we're gonna make a run for it. Is it gonna follow me outside? Okay, I'll just go to sleep then. So it looks like it doesn't follow you outside of your... Okay. Okay. But it looks like the creaking doesn't follow you outside the biome, so super easy to get away from. Ah, and you hear about those falling leaves? So I have the falling leaves mod, but in the next update, they're going to be adding these falling leaf particles to the base game. And then they're also adding leaf litter, which looks super cool. Where is he? The skeleton needs to chill. Ow. Okay. And then we do need to grab a lot of these flowers, because I think these would work really well in the dwarven area. I wish they would actually emit real light, but you know, you can't ask for too much, I suppose. Is this regular grass or is this like special grass? No, it is just regular grass. I think I can just grab some carpet, and I'll grab just a handful of moss here so that we can bone meal it at base. And then I think the last thing we can grab are these. And yes, we can grab these pale hanging moss. Doesn't that leaf block kind of look like it's a piece of bedrock? Very cheaty. All right, but eventually we'll come back here because I do need to get a creaking heart because I forgot to bring my dang silk touch. But eventually we'll come back. Now we just need to head home, and then we can start working on our sheep farm. All right, so we made it back to our dwarven city, and we got quite some little goodies. So we got 4 stacks, almost 4 stacks of pale oak, and then we got the pale moss, the hanging pale moss, which is awesome. It's like it can go on like next to the wall, which is super cool. And then we've got the pale moss carpet. Oh, geez. And And then also the eye blossom. Jeez, man. Leave me alone. But honestly, the closed eye blossoms might be pretty cool because I think they only open during the nighttime. So maybe the dwarves can use it as kind of an indicator on, you know, like a clock. Because, man, I've actually spent a lot more days in this world. But let's see, it says I have 1,325 days played. But I've been playing well into the nights, the Minecraft nights, because I don't see the daytime. You know, like half the time I don't even realize it's nighttime, so I don't sleep. So I've been playing through, I think there's probably at least like 50 days or probably more than 50 days worth of me playing that was only played during the night. So being a dwarf here, you know, you kind of lose track of time. And I have no food, so we will eat that dead flesh. Yeah, I got no food. I really do need to set up a food source, like a proper food source. I've had like this small tiny patch of potatoes for the longest time, and you know, it was working for a while, but since I'm not next to that patch of potatoes anymore, I keep running out of food. And man, my storage situation is just getting worse and worse. Alright, so in today's episode, I do want to build a wool farm, and I thought a good spot might be kind of behind our dwarven mine area, our dwarven quarry right here. There is a mountainous region right there, and I think it might be a pretty good spot to have our wool farm. So I want to use a new pale oak, and so I was wondering if I should do a ranch or if I should do like Mongolian yurts. But I think a ranch style with white picket fences is probably a little too modern for our fantasy world. So I do think I want to go with the Mongolian yurt style, and I think, you know, it would kind of match these mountainous areas since Mongolia is very mountainous. So these dwarves that are kind of doing this sheep herding are probably a slightly different culture than the mountain dwarves that are living inside the cave. All right, so if you've never built a wool farm, it is a very simple process. The first thing you got to do is you got to put an observer down facing the grass block, and then we're going to put a dispenser right here. Gonna break this dirt block right in front of the observer. You put a barrel here and a hopper going into the barrel, and then you put rail and a minecart, and this rail minecart is going to be kind of gathering the wool off of the actual grass block, and then just cover it with some dirt or grass block, whatever you have. And the next thing we want to do is put a dirt block onto the minecart hopper. So we'll have to put a piston and then a dirt block, and then you just power the piston with a redstone block or a lever, whatever works best for you. And then we'll put a stair here just to block off the minecart. And then you'll want to put some dirt blocks kind of surrounding, because the grass block actually spreads in a diagonal direction. So this way the dirt block will turn into grass more often. And then you want to put some glass blocks surrounding the spot, because you want a transparent block to make sure that the dirt grows back into grass. And then there you have it. Very, very simple process. So now all we have to do is make a compact version. We just have to add 2 more to the side. That way we can make a semicircle with it, and then we'll do it on the other side to make a full circle for the yurt. So we're going to keep working on the actual wool farm here, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we've actually finished the wool farm, but I had to come back to my fairy forest because I'm missing quite a few dye colors, and I do have a little bottle greenhouse here that we made in the fairy forest, so I'm here to gather a few flowers, but as you can see, we've got quite a bit of greenery in here. Ooh, small drip leaf, actually. I might want to take that back. But I think I'll take a few colors of each flower so that I kind of have them, and then I can also kind of use them for, you know, decoration. Honestly, maybe I'll probably just fill up my shulker box with a few plant items so that I don't have to come back here anymore for a little while. Obviously, with me connecting these bills with the nether roof now, I can kind of come back whenever I want to. But I still need to set up like an actual nether highway so that I can fast travel towards these spots. Because right now I have to kind of run across the nether roof, which takes like, you know, minimum 4 minutes still. One other thing I do want to collect from this ferry area is I want to go to my starter base. And this is my starter base. Got to go through the trellis. And this is a little acorn home. But I do believe, yep, there is my first diamond tools. And I want to have some extras on me so that I can kind of, you know, not have to repair my tools all the time and can kind of just switch tools when I need to. Ooh, and then there's some mini blocks as well. Oh, and then we also have our diamond armor here, our first set of diamond armor. Honestly, I should probably wear some diamond armor. I still need to download the mod that kind of like takes away the armor from your recordings because I don't like the way it looks when I record, but I definitely need the protection because I die quite often and, you know, the less I die, the better. All right, but that's all the stuff we need from Mosswood. I think it's time to head back to the wool farm. All right, so we're back in our little wool farm area, and we made a little pen for them because I was kind of breeding up quite a few of the sheep. And, you know, the yurts are supposed to be for living, and then the sheep are technically supposed to be outside. So for the kind of the like immersion and, you know, like environment, lifestyle, they need to have the sheep outside as well. So we're going to pen them up right here for now. I do need to take down some of these because the yurt still has to go up. But this is what we're working with. We've got 3 sheep on this side and then 3 sheep on this side. So each little yurt will have 6 sheep. And so as you can tell, it is kind of in a circle, like semicircle, semicircle, and then I'll kind of fill in these parts. So these parts will be kind of the entrance, or this side will be the entrance at least. And so I kind of wanted to just map this area out a little bit. So we made all 3 of the farms for all 16 colors plus an extra like, I think 6, 12, 18, yeah, so an extra 2 colors. So the extra 2 colors will probably just be like the base white color. That way I can kind of just re-dye whenever I need to, or maybe 2 of the sheep I can just dye whatever color I want whenever I need more of a certain color. And then we're going to have some free roaming ones here just for the look of the whole area. But the next order of business is actually building the yurts. So I think it's time for a cinematic building montage. We've got some true Mongolians over there. I'm Genghis. So this is a Mongolian gur, most well known to be called a yurt, and it is looking so nice. It's basically a large, like a super large tent that kind of substitutes as a house for, you know, traditional Mongolian living. But they've got these like very colorful bands sometimes on the top. But the different types of wool is super nice for these Mongolian yurts because it kind of tells you which colors are in this yurt. So we've got like blue, magenta, light blue, pink, and then when you go inside, you've got those sheep. Oh, there we have it. We've got the sheep, the light blue and, you know, blue and whatnot. Super, super nice. But the interior is just kind of 6 sheep getting sheared, and then there's normally this like pole that goes straight up the middle of the yurt, and then there will be a cooking spot in the middle. The top part is to kind of let fresh air in and also let smoke out when it kind of smokes upwards. But we also added a little bed here. Obviously, the interior is not meant for living. It's just my wool farm, so there's nothing too crazy about that. But just look at the nice splash of colors we have all over the Mongolian yurt. I do really like this one as well, though. It's a very monochromatic. It's got all of the monochrome colors. So we've got the black, the gray, the light gray, and the white wool. And then for all of the yurt entrances, I just had this little flower banner to add a little more detail. That's the only banner pattern that I actually have. But if you wanted to try to make this yourself, for example, you could probably add a lot more detail by adding a lot of different banner patterns on the side here. But it's looking super snazzy. But I try to make all of the yurts slightly different with these yurts, so you can really make any color. So like this one, I have an acacia bottom, and then I think this one is spruce, and that one's dark oak. So, you know, you can kind of play with colors and whatnot. And then for the actual tent itself, normally the base color is white, so you can use like calcite, white wool, and then we loved to use this stripped pale oak. It looks so good. I feel like quartz just wouldn't have worked as well. So we've got these slabs up top, and then these trapdoors to kind of help accentuate the curve for the actual yurt top. But like I was saying, all the yurts have a slightly different top side. So this one has got this little design right here. This one's got this design, and then this one's got this design. Very simple, very basic. But as you can tell, we had to use the banners to cover up a little bit of our redstone. So each yurt has like two sides where there's a sheep. So unfortunately, we have to have this redstone spot. You could also hide it if you just put a trapdoor here, but I kind of wanted to keep it like this. So this is what we got. But yeah, these yurts are super cool. In real life, the yurts have like this wooden lattice that kind of covers this spot up. So normally you'd probably have like a spruce, you'd have like a spruce fence type of thing kind of surrounding the rest of the tent. But this is kind of what we're working with in Minecraft. So we really don't need to work the lattice in. But this place is looking so sick. I think one thing we do need to add though is we need to add a little more detail. So I think we're going to add some pathways to the center right here. So this farm is actually pretty far away from Ashgrund, our dwarven city. So one thing we'll need to do to kind of have it loaded and kind of loading up all this wool is we need a chunk loader. And actually chunk loaders are now in vanilla Minecraft that you just need soul sand, like a tunnel, and then an ender pearl. So let's go decorate this place a little bit. And here we are. We decided to add a little campfire right in the center here. So they'd probably be cooking up some sheep. Look away, my guy. You don't want to see this. But we did decide to also add like little clumps of random little bits, little workstation areas. Then we've got a little seating spot there as well. And then this one is a little wagon that's kind of holding just a few things. It's got some hay bales for the food for the sheep, and then maybe the horses as well. Got a hitching post there because if they're a sheep herder, they'd probably also ride horses and kind of, you know, herd the sheep. I imagine they'd probably also have like dogs, so we need to add some dogs. And then over here, we've got another pile of stuff just hanging around, but this is also going to serve as our chunk loader. So all you need to do for a chunk loader is you need to dig probably like 6 or 7 down, and then you put soul sand, and then you got to fill it with water source blocks. And then all you got to do is you look straight down at the water column, and then you just throw in ender pearl. And then the ender pearl should pop right back up. And this is a like an ender stasis chamber. So this will load all of the chunks in I believe it's a 3x3. So it should load 9 chunks kind of surrounding this. And this way we don't have to sit around here and AFK. I really don't like AFKing this world. For the most part, I just build things where I'm working and then have, you know, that be my AFK time, like to let the farms run. But since we now have vanilla chunk loaders, this should just load this place up whenever. The only downside is that every time you die, your ender pearl will disappear. So the farm will only run if I do not die. If once I die, I have to come back here and load up another pearl. and that might be a big issue because I do die quite often, but I think we'll manage to make it work. If I do need more wool, then I'll come back here and just throw an ender pearl and then, you know, cover that. But I do imagine this would be one of the many food sources for the dwarves. So we've got these shepherds that are rearing sheep. And so typically for these Mongolian yurts, sometimes they'll be kind of nomads and they'll move around. But for this one, I wanted to make it very stationary. I wanted to have like a little yurt village almost. So that's why we've got a little campfire, got actual pathways. So this is kind of a permanent residence, but they will probably be, you know, bringing the sheep out and kind of having them graze throughout the mountains. But you know, this is a nice little spot. Eventually down the line, I'm probably going to have to build some like fields, some farms and whatnot, kind of scattered throughout the whole map, because I've got a large space here. So this is a dwarven city. The cave city is like this entirety right here. So in order to feed such a large city, you need quite a lot of food. So this would be one of the many ways. So the sheep would provide wool and meat to the dwarves. But man, I really do like how these yurts turned out. They're honestly really customizable if you want to try it yourself. You can like change all the different wood types on the bottom, the little base layer, and then all the little colors. Some traditional yurts have like this tapestry and like embroidery on the actual tent. So that's where the banners and the wool is kind of mimicking that. But you can add more banner designs or even use things like glazed terracotta to add that little like mosaic look or little like tapestry look. Anyways, that's all the time we have for today's episode. If you did enjoy the episode, do leave a comment and leave a like. And then if you like me, subscribe. And if you really like me, consider joining the channel membership or the Patreon in order to get some world downloads. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.